everything seemed to fall into place. Like my first finish in the UFC, and then like to get a bonus as well, it was like amazing. And like just in England, home crowd, from all my friends and family, like it was just perfect, absolutely perfect.
He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 264 pounds, fighting at the Council Town England, Mick Parkin!
What was that feeling like when you were coming out and having all them people like, because it would have been 11 o'clock, everyone was in and up and ready for it, wasn't it?
I think it was better because more people were there earlier on, but usually it's a bit quieter for me. So it was amazing. I got to see like practically a full arena. But the walk's amazing. It's the best bit by far. It's absolutely insane. The weigh-ins are good. It's like that's probably you haven't got the pressure of somebody punching you in the head at the end of it. But the walk, that's amazing. Like I remember like when I was younger, I was scared to do the walkout. Like I used to try and rush through as quick as possible and get in there and get the fight out of the way. But I remember talking to a few guys who were like, you look back at it, you don't want to like miss the best experiences. The walkout's the best ones for me. They get you up for it. So I remember really stuck with us, and ever since the first one, UFC London, I remember doing the walk, like taking it all in. So that's what I remember always telling myself, like, always stop, have a look around and like feel it. Like it's amazing. You're in an arena with 20,000 people watching you. It's like very select few in the world that'll feel it, and it's honestly one of the best feelings in the world.
That was what we know. Someone watching it with me and my mate, and we were like just seeing you taking it all in, because you could see you're proper just happy. You look just happy to be there and just ready for it, because it's just like looking up at the rafters and just being like.
That's the only thing with a lot of my fights in the Apex. I'd love to fight in America, just a big arena, be like maybe he's the away guy for a fight and stuff like that, and feel how that feels. But yeah, the Apex is good and stuff like that. I understand why they've done it, but there's nothing compares to one out in front of the fans, especially home fans like that.
What was it like on the lead up? Did you have people recognising you in that all?
Probably the most ever, I think, because it was obviously UK, Manchester, I had a few fights, and even with just training with Tom and that, people recognise you more and stuff like that. But yeah, there was like Fight Hotel, there's like people waiting outside for like the full week. They're there every day waiting, yeah. Like kids come up to you asking you to sign tops, hats, pictures with you. Like it's surreal. You walk around the street and people are like, oh, are you Mick? And like asking to meet you. It's crazy because you never really felt that before. And then like you just a regular guy myself with friends, like having a fight, and people are non-stop waiting for you, asking you to sign stuff. It's pretty crazy, like.
You know, at that point, how many cameras and that have you got in your face? Is there a couple follow you in?
There's definitely one main one that they sit right in your face. That's a bit weird because you like to know how I look, because obviously you're ready for a fight and there's like camera light right here and you're like, I tell you, I remember feeling inside, you feel a bit awkward because like, you're like looking into it and you're like, should I look into it? Should I not? That's probably the awkwardest part. Like, to be fair, it's a dead weird part when the cage doors are still open and they're like talking, there's people still in, cameramen, like your opponent's like there, stuff like that. It's just surreal. And obviously when they shut, it's like a bit more like turned on, stuff like that. Then like obviously when you get announced, it's amazing.
When you're looking at them from like across the cage, what did you reckon? Do you think you looked up for it?
Yeah, well, to be fair, I saw him in the fight and he said introduce himself, and there was huge like brief just hello and stuff like that. And I remember he seemed like a nice guy, but I remember in that he looked quite terrified. Across like his face change, he looked quite scary. I remember looking across thinking, oh god, he looks quite scary really. But it was a good fight. Like I knew what it was going to be. I thought it'd be like a much longer fight and tougher, and I did think I'd get the finish. Maybe he's on the floor. I knew he was more of a kickboxer, and I knew he was definitely tough and just kept coming forward. But he matched up mint. Like I did think I was a better kickboxer than him as well. I just thought the easier route was the grappling and finishing the floor. Like you come and saw us wanting the game plan of the beating them up on the floor. Thought I would get the finish, but then I think just the way it worked out, I think it was just much better on the feet, and obviously it worked out good.
And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, an undefeated mixed martial artist, holding a perfect professional record, 9 wins, no losses. He stands 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 264 pounds, fighting out of Council Town, England, Mick Parkin!
What's that like then, getting your name like announced by Bruce Buffer, like one of the most legendary announcers like in sport?
It's mint. I think the two same shows I've done, it's been Bruce Buffer, so I've been really lucky. But I remember, obviously I'm from Castletown, Sunderland, but maybe when you fill the forms out, I must have filled out Castletown, Sunderland, and like the forms coming out more American, so that's for provinces and stuff like that. So I must have done like a mix-up that says Castletown, but I've just kept it now for like people from Castletown messages, like my friends that they're like, mint, after the recording, they jumped out, like Castletown, man, it's amazing. So I just stuck with it and kept it, because I don't think I did it intentionally. I think I must have been Castletown, Sunderland, and then we just took the first place. But it's amazing. There's a lot of people from Castle. It's only a tiny place. They like love it when that happens. But it's surreal. I remember first seeing him. I remember the first fight in London. He arrived and he caught the lift. And won the lift with him, I think. It's like Bruce Buffer, you know what I mean? Like, everyone wants him to announce it. And obviously, he announced in the day, and he's such a cool guy. But then, like, yeah, I've just been so lucky because there could have been a different announcer or whatever. But I'm lucky. I think the only one, like, the one thing I'd ask for now was I'm running a show with, like, a Joe Rogan. That would be cool for Joe Rogan to, like, commentate on you. I think John Anik and that was there in Brisbane. So they're still, like, great commentators. But I think, like, that's the next step. Maybe have a get in the car with Joe Rogan announcing. That would be great.
Did you speak to Bruce much like when you met him in the lift and that?
The very first time in London, I just said a brief hello, but Phil was eating a packet of Knick Knack Spicy Crisps, hot and spicy. I said, do you want one? And he was like, no. But then Phil sort of like peer pressure into one. So he had one. I remember just like a weighing counter. He was just like, oh, spicy little fuckers. And then like when he's lifting, he was dead cool. I remember it was just like a surreal thing. Like he left, which like definitely didn't want that crisp. And Phil was like, no, they're lovely. It's like a hot and spicy Knick Knack. I'm just thinking it's so weird. We give him like Bruce Buffer that.
And I do love when fighters say us instead of you when they talk about their team. And Mick Parkin said at his media scrum, I'm just more technical than Dresky. I can't see him beating us. I love hearing that.
Yeah. Well, I'm English. Right? And even when I read that, I can't see him beating us. I thought, does he mean him and his team? And I'm like, hold on, no. They use us singular.
Oh, you better move his us.
Just on what Brisbane was on about there, loads of people online, like Americans particularly, they listen to you and they get confused, like all the accent and stuff like that. Have you had many people like mention your accent?
I try and speak a bit slower, so a few of them actually are okay. If I'm speaking like now, so I'm speaking to a camera or something, I'll try and slow down a little bit, so don't come across too bad. But if I get excited, I'm talking with my friends, I'll start talking faster, and they haven't got a clue. Like, do you find English people haven't got a clue?
Well, like Brisbane was saying there, you said us, as in like
me.
You know what I mean?
I think I'm trying to say, I might have said I can't see him being is. I must have said is, as in like what we'd say up here, like can't beat is.
As in me.
Yeah, and then we've thought us and then stuff like that. So like a few sayings, when you think about them, they don't make sense, but like you'll know what I'm talking about, anyone in the North East will know. So I feel like English people understand this, and my coach Fisher, I think he speaks similar to me. So like when we're speaking amongst ourselves or we're like excited about a conversation and talking fast, it just gets faster and faster. The people are like, I've been in a lift before, and we're coming to the lift, Fisher got out, I think we're in Poland, I think, KSW. Polish guy, Star Wars, go right at the top. Phil gets out, so I'm in just me and him, and the guy's like, oh, you're Swedish. And I was like, oh, no. And he was like, oh, but you was speaking Swedish in the lift. And I was like, no, worse. And he was like, what were you speaking? I was like, English. And he was like, didn't have a clue. So it happened a few times. Again, at the contender series, I was there with me coach Fisher and Paul Craig, and we was talking amongst ourselves. And the UFC guy comes up, an official. He's like, all right, which one of you speaks English? We were like, speaks English? We all speak English. They years didn't speak English, man. We speak proper English. So he obviously was like a Scottish guy, two heavily northern people. So he didn't have an absolute clue what we were saying. So it was funny. So talking amongst ourselves, definitely not. On the camera, I remember after the end of this fight, I remember saying to DC that I'll speak really slow. He's like, I can understand you, but really he's probably thinking, I'm going to clue what you're saying. The very first fight in the UFC, I did like a corner cam, and did Fisher was giving us advice the last round, stuff like that. Just get like obviously like heated, like come on. And Brisbane like turns at Paul Feller. Did you understand that? And Paul Feller's like absolutely nothing. And Brisbane's like out and half, get the gist of what they're saying. And I heard everything. I can understand everything that he's saying. Well, like on the peel must have been thinking, talking code.
Yeah. I mean, it's an advantage, really, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I can understand it.
After that response. He's even killed and landed a nice right hand there.
You know what's amazing, man? The amount of people that are in here right now. There are very empty place. This place is...
Did you just decide you were going to stand with them for a little bit and kind of see how that felt, and then maybe move to more like grappling?
I was definitely shooting them. I remember thinking like, oh, try and back them up first before shooting them. And just have like a feeling you don't want to go too early. And that was definitely the game plan. I remember thinking in my head like, oh, maybe about the halfway mark, start like looking to shoot. And then the round went quite quick, and I think Fisher said, oh, there's only like 90 seconds left. But I didn't think there was a thing at the time. I think he missed the title, but he said something like that. I was thinking, oh, time to get him down, 1 minute left, probably is pointless to shoot now. I'll just maybe set around, go in there and shoot and take him down. But I was feeling good in the field. Like I think he landed a few glancing shots, but nothing that I really felt. And I definitely felt like I was landing the heavier shots. Like the only worry was he had a nice calf kick, which I think I defended. He landed 3 or 4. Even though I defended him, they still hurt. Like not getting kicked in the legs. Your legs are so sore. But I think second round coming up, I think I probably would have started pushing him back and maybe starting to shoot. But like I said, I started landing some few shots, and I remember Fisher in the corner shouting because I landed a big right hand. He was like, we've been working loads on the pads of following up with second and third, because sometimes that's not what I do. I'll be more single jab, big counter, then like move off and then stuff like that. So we've been working about getting into range, throwing 2 and 3. So I remember he was landing a few right hands. I remember him shouting, saying the seconds and third now, then the ones that'll finish him. And then like I think that's what I followed up with and actually got the finish with.
How easy is it to hear your corner?
I find it pretty easy, you know, like certain places, like people say the con because it's loud, whatever, but I always feel like I hear Fisher and Phil and Dave. Like, to be fair, I think Fisher's the main guy. He like shouts more instructional stuff like that, and Phil and Dave will shout the odd thing. But I think basically Fisher's out, the main voice there, them two are there. Like, I remember being in the corner before and Fisher's giving loads of advice. Phil was just basically like, you're doing really good, like more encouragement, stuff like that. I think Fisher breaks down the more technical stuff of it. And then my friend Davey and then Phil, they'll be more like that. Like, you do mean, like you do this, or they will shout advice to the see it, but like, same as me when I'm cornered with Fisher, you let him sort of take charge. That's like his job really. He has a lot more than me. And like, if I say something, I might shout and stuff like that, or more of encouragement really. I'm just working the jab, everyone loads and stuff the jab, and I just like simple combos. I feel like I just nice leg kick, simple combos with the work.
You never seem to rush, like I think all your fights you always seem to be pretty measured, you know what I mean?
I'm always dead with heavyweights. Like even when you like rock them, you're like one shot away from getting knocked out yourself. So I'm always quite measured and like thinking. And I was pressed a little bit here, but I knew he was like done with this shot. Like when he did get wobble like that, I knew he was done here. Like the legs I could tell, so that's why I unload a bit. But if you can't crazy like that, it's just all it takes is them to hit you with a big shot on the way in and you're on the bottom. But yeah, when I saw his legs go like that, I thought, oh, he's gone now, it's done. It's done. Yeah, it's gone crazy.
What was that feeling like when Mark got in the way and it was over?
It was unreal. Like I said, I knew I hit him the big shot. I think I let him land just behind. Like, he's here the temple, them are the worst ones that wobble you. I remember like steps off and I remember just thinking, oh, this is it. I just unload. Then I remember I flung a few shots and he was still like, I thought like 1 or 2 he'd have been done. He was at like 4 or 5. But in your head in the moment, it's much longer. I was thinking, maybe he's not as hurt as I thought. But yeah, when he went down, the finish was there. And like I said, game plan was maybe starting to push the takedown, but I think I was doing okay on the feet and pressuring it. So I feel like I could have won anywhere like that. But I've just been working so much on because I knew I wouldn't say he's a bad grappler, but he's more of a kickboxer. And I think he's wrestling with a bit his weakest point. So I think taking him down, that's what I thought was hard because he's always trying to get up. He never like accepts and just gives up. Even when he's tired, he still comes forward. That's why I thought it was going to be a really hard, grueling fight. So, but I thought I would take him down, then tire him out, and maybe get the finish on the floor. But fights like that can be, like, I always tell myself it's going to be the hardest fight of your life. I just tell myself that every time, because then when it gets there, and it's like that, it's much easier, it's brilliant. But then it gets hard, you think, oh, that's what I expected anyway. Because there's nothing worse than getting in a fight than not going your way and thinking, it's harder than I expected this. So I always get that week before, I just keep telling myself it's going to be terrible, it's going to be absolutely so uncomfortable for you. Then always, luckily every fight hasn't been. It's like, it's beautiful, it's even much better.
So after this, obviously we haven't got it here, but you get your interview with DC, and I remember you being like, I just can't believe that I'm speaking to you. I must have been a surreal moment as well.
Just people that you grew up watching, like I said, I watched Daniel Cormier fight and stuff like that. And there's some people in the whole Fight Hotel now, like I'm on about like Leon Edwards is there. It's not as crazy to meet Tom because he's my friend now, do you know what I mean? So like other people would, but like Volkanovski was there, and I went to Tom's party at his house, and Volkanovski was there, just having like a burger and that, because Tom had like a burger van set up, so it was cool. Like me, 2 friends I grew up with, my friend Davey who corners and my other friend Murph, them had stopped down, so they were coming, so I was like, oh, it's okay, these come. So like my friend Murph, who was just like, hasn't really trained, done anything, just a normal guy, got to meet Volkanovski, got a picture of him, and he's like, it's mental, this, just sitting with Volkanovski, and even like him, to meet Tom's amazing, because he's like, obviously like world famous now, really. But Tom was just, for me, it's not as bad because he's just my friend, really, even though I know how amazing he is. But meeting other people in the Fight Hotel, it's like people you've grew up watching, stuff like that, and they're there. And then, I remember when I fought Usman, like obviously Kamaru Usman was there, and that was crazy. Kamaru Usman was standing across the corner from us, and like I've watched him fight. So it is a bit surreal, like these people, I'm like on the same company with them, I'm like fighting and like on their level. And, like you still feel like a bit of a fanboy, especially people like Volkanovski, and he was like cool as hell, like an amazing fighter. It's like you'd be sitting there, you'll see them walking in, and like I said, he was such a nice guy, he got flooded with people asking for pictures. Everyone, even at Tom's, he had to go get his flight. People were asking for pictures and he stopped for everybody. He seems like such a cool, nice guy. Like,
so you won, you're buzzing, it's like midnight.
Yeah.
What do you do when you leave the cage now? And like, what's the process of like, right, I've won this fight, like, I'm buzzed off my tits, it's midnight, what am I going to do now?
Well, it's not as easy as just leaving. You've got to do loads of media. So you do like a few interviews, I think, with like the media teams, like the UFC page, like maybe it's like TNT Sports, something like that. So you have a few interviews. Well, depends if a good one like that. Everyone's interview, if it was a boring fight, you sort of out. So I remember I did pictures with a few pictures, team pictures, pictures of the gloves on, and then you go to the media room. And I remember, what fight was it? One fight I remember, literally one question, done, tumbleweed. Like this week I was getting questions, and like they had to pull it short, or like, oh, he's got any times with again. While before I remember it was just like, any more? And you're like, so like it just matters when you're like fighting in England, or you've gone off a win or a better win. And I've got a few more questions and stuff like that. So that takes your time up, chilling. And you've got to do like a medical, check you out, stuff like that. And they take you straight back to your hotel. So we're getting back in the hotel. Like I says, my friends were there and they paid good money, so like, we're not going to leave early, do you know what I mean? But one of my friends rang us and he was like, oh, I'm leaving, I'll come see you. I thought, we're going to Manchester. By the time I got out and then got back, it was like 2, 3 o'clock. Places were shutting out, it was really busy. Massive queues. And then one place I try again, and the guy just wouldn't let us in. Waiting in the queue and he's like, you're not getting in. I was like, all right, I'm just like chilling, walk away with me. I was like, you should have found the UFC. And he was like, he's not getting in there. I was like, stay with them guys. I was ready, defeated, ready to go home. Like at this time, my mum had come, my dad, my girlfriend, like, few of the, like her mum, her sister, not her sister, her mum, and one of my friends, her friends. There was just a few of us. I said, we'll just call it and go. And then the security guy on the Fight Hotel, the scouts guy, was class all week. He was like, there's a casino next door, 24/7. So I went to the casino, went upstairs, little bar there, had a few pints till about 4 in the morning. But like I said, I was watching the UFC, watched it all on my phone for the fight pass, and then as soon as I got up, the casino had it on big screen. And I was like, I've been watching it like through the phone for like thingies. Paid for it on my phone to watch it through that. I was like, then thingies. And then went home and I was like wide awake, couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm thinking. So I said, still watching the UFC, up watching it. And then I was just wide awake. And then obviously I was sort of just dozing off when Edwards was fighting. Like, I was watching it now and you're like, boom, flat out. And then obviously I got the message off Phil. He tried to ring us. I hung up, I was like, I'm asleep here, my girlfriend's asleep, it's important. And he was like, definitely important, mate, it's the UFC, like, you want to pick this up? That's when he like faced, I was like, so I went to the front door, and I was like, what? And he was like, have you heard the news? And I was like, him and Tom, and I was like, no, what? And he was like, he's got the bonus, and I was like, he's a lion. And like, he was like, well, not matter, we're jumping out, I was screaming, because Phil was like, hey, you weren't even, like, we were buzzing for you, you weren't even that excited. And I was like, didn't believe him. I hung up, and I just went on YouTube and just refreshed the UFC, because Dana White announced it straight away. I just refreshed it, and then like he come on and announced the 3 bonuses, and I was like, I was watching the fights, and like it's a bit, it's tough for the UFC, but I was thinking I want all the fights to be boring decisions. Then I've like got to get a bonus. Then Piper got that finish, which was amazing. I thought, he's definitely getting one. And then Tom obviously finished their blades in that fashion. I was like, they've definitely got them. So I was like, I lost it. Like Tom's got plenty of bonuses, good. And then obviously when they announced I got one, I was absolutely over the moon. But I said, didn't feel it. Still hasn't like sung in really. I'm like mental, because I just felt like everything fell into place. Like usually it's 50,000. He doubled it just for the off chance of somebody saying it, stuff like that. So I was like, everything seemed to fall into place. Like my first finish in the UFC, and then like to get a bonus as well. It was like amazing, and like just in England, home crowd, from all my friends and family. Like it was just perfect, absolutely perfect.
What was the first thing that went through your head that you thought, I might buy that when you heard about the bonus?
I'm not getting flashy, that's a fact. Like to be fair, all I'll ever do, if I think I'm dead thingy, I'm just really owing myself a new pair of shins and gloves, because my shins are literally falling apart. I was training last night, they were literally falling off my legs. I definitely need to buy a new pair of these. So like, max of these, when you've got that money, you can think of like buy nicer pair of gloves and it didn't feel as bad. But I always feel bad buying myself stuff. And maybe it's very, very push. I'll buy myself the Xbox game, I bought myself the new FIFA. When it comes out, that was like probably the first thing I bought.